Really trying to get back into content creating, trying to just do a little bit here and there. Looking into moving into my new house in about a month, where I'm going to probably be doing streaming and content creating full time. So I can't wait for that. But anyway, wanted to do a recap of March, what went down, maybe like 5 to 10 notable projects and news that sort of shaped March as a month. That was spearheaded by none other than Elliott Trades, the man behind Superfarm. It seemed to be similar to like a 3D version of the game. What do you call it? No, it's not like Imposters, the app. It's more sort of like you get these figures or these avatars or items or pets or whatever you would like to call them, and then they're going to have utility within games and all sorts of different things. So I guess we're trying to bring gamification to the metaverse industry, or sorry, the digital space, and trying to make it a little bit more fun than just landing pages and all that sort of stuff. So Imposters went out, had a shaky reception. I mean, some people liked it, some people didn't. It did have the marks of a crypto project, having staking mechanisms. Stake your imposter NFT and start earning blood tokens. Looks like there's a blood token. Genesis UFO mint, looks like there's some mints, some pets, all sorts of things up in the works. So this sort of hit Twitter for a while. It sort of had its had its hype phase. Had support by Alex Becker. Alex and Elliott seem to work quite closely together with Neo Tokyo. Neon Tokyo or Neo Tokyo? Maddie, you should know this by now. What is it? Neo Tokyo. Yeah, that's a project by them. So yeah, that went down. Again, the time has almost come for Genesis character holders to stake their NFTs and begin accumulating blood tokens. This is like this DeFi thing where you buy NFTs, you stake to earn crypto. The tokens seem to represent the valuation of the business. They end up going up and down based on how well they do or how well they do not do. So there's also sorts of these mechanisms, but it seems like the project really wants to try and find some sort of actual gameplay in the space. So let's see how it performs and how it goes in terms of the price action. Looks like right off the bat, it saw some pretty immense momentum. Slowed down as you do after a hype phase. Again, bang, you see it again in April 10th. So let's see how it goes. I mean, it's been pretty good, from 1 ETH to about 3 to 5 ETH. I think they had a $70,000 sale recently. So again, project that is interesting just to watch and see what happens. Keep on your radar. Then there was, well, we can't really talk about this project without talking about, maybe I'll put it all the way here somewhere. Where is it? Okay, let me find where it is. Azuki. So Azuki went a bit insane. A project that launched similar time of Artifact Studios Clone X really took the anime look, hit home with a lot of people. Currently sitting at almost a 30 ETH floor, which is insane. But they had this real world event that went down where they said they announced an airdrop. Oh god, there seems to be such a strong correlation between Twitter hype, or hype in general, social media hype, and market activity. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It can be a bad thing because, I mean, virality moves on after some time. But in the case of Azuki, a lot of this, they airdropped this thing called Beans Official, which on April 1st was actually like a pile of dirt, and people are like, what the heck is this? Then they changed the metadata, and it seems to be something within this. So it looks like it is their Beans avatar or Beans pet, whatever you'd like to call them, sort of a thing going on here. Sitting at 5.73 Ethereum at a floor price, which is pretty damn healthy, being quite steady with volume. But Azuki really running off the gates and coming in hot as a anime avatar project leader. It seems like they're just crushing it, right? One of the handful of projects that have launched in the recent 6 months or so that are really, pushing ahead. Now, I don't have any Azukis, nor do I know, like, I mean, anime, I am a fan of anime, but I just can't really look at things that don't have strong utility, or I don't certainly personally resonate with. So I actually didn't end up buying any Azuki. I actually thought they were going to die out after a while, but team has proven me wrong. So, I mean, this happens often, Maddie does get proved wrong many, many times. So I adjust my strategy accordingly. Congrats to whoever is in Azuki's, and I hope they do extremely well. Props to them. All right, so after that, seemed to have a lot of sort of clones or anime-inspired avatar projects. Out came one called Muri. Muri seemed to do something similar. Have a community, have all sorts of things happening that seem to bring value to the project. They popped off a little bit mid-March, and I've been somewhat quiet since then. I mean, 676 sales on April 5th, so still doing somewhat decent. Trajectory seems somewhat down, as you do in new launches. New launches go like this, project launches. It shakes up the Twitter world. Everyone gets involved. There's a lot of trading volume, and then slowly it comes down. And I sort of get involved in projects once, 3 months, 6 months down the line, when I can assess this sort of a thing and look at how the graph is playing out, how the project seems to be growing, etc., etc. But yeah, Muri came out. They seem to be doing somewhat well. 16,700 Ethereum traders. Pretty intense, to be honest. All right, let's move on. Antonym. Antonym seems to be a physical, digital, sort of like what was that? Super plastic. So like super plastic designer toys, those sort of a thing, connecting that to the NFT space. So they had their thing a while back. There's an article that came out recently about them. But if you look at the roadmap, here we go. So House of Antonym. House of Phygital. Okay, Antonym. They say Antonym is phygital. I'm going to get used to that word. That is a very hard word to get used to. Antonym is a phygital lifestyle brand bridging the gap between digital collectibles and physical designer goods. Rather than accept the separation of the physical and the digital world, we believe the future is phygital. Okay, working in harmony to create unique product experiences that connect cultures and communities. But it seems like their avatar drop, or their NFT initial drop, is sort of like their Genesis NFT into their ecosystem. So it's interesting to watch if Antonym becomes a physical toy brand, right? I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to become a physical toy brand within the space. I mean, they've had a pretty damn good launch. They're sitting at like 250,000 Twitter followers. So, doing quite well. In terms of the NFTs themselves, 0.2 ETH, they're pretty affordable, to be honest, right now. They seem to have launched a little bit higher than that, I think. But, they're okay. I mean, like, it's something new, something to watch. They have a good amount of followers. They seem to have well funded themselves and sold out. So projects like these that are doing something new, again, I do like to watch them to see where they go, because at the end of the day, if a project like this will go on to be extremely good, so at the end of the day, if a project is new and goes on to grow, then we may not know how it works in the short term, but if they keep building, there may be a big deal later on, right? A brand grows in time. It doesn't just suddenly take over the space. It sort of seeps into people's minds, and people start to get a gist of what they do. And then after a year or 2 or 3 of continuous hearing of that name, it become a big deal. So again, we'll be watching Antonym. Never anything to write off a new project. Let's keep going. All right, the monoliths. Oh my God, we've been waiting for like 2 months to figure out what's inside these. So the airdrop by Artifact Studio that was acquired by Nike, not collab, but acquired by Nike. Nike or Nike? How do you guys pronounce it? Let's say Nike. So the monolith, so we're all sort of waiting for what's inside it. I think the team took a bit of a break over the last month on doing the quests and all that stuff. I personally think they're sort of sitting back a little bit. It must be so overwhelming on their end. I know how it is when you launch a massive project. For the first 6 months, everything is everywhere. You're kind of just like redefining processes. You're hiring more people. There's a lot of process and management building that needs to be done before they can start to push this out quite quickly. But they've been pretty strong and frequent with their airdrops. Again, the monolith, we've been waiting to see what's inside it. There has been some assumptions as what's inside. So people are saying that, behold a mysterious monolith etched with Nike and artifact markings. It seems to be sentient. What does it do? So sentient meaning alive or movement. Sentient A getting some uncomfortable Indiana Jones Ark of the Covenant vibes here. Is my face going to melt off if and when someone figures out how to open one of these monoliths? So very interesting to see what's inside it. It is the first token that Nike ever released in the space, I believe, which is this. So I know Artifact has a CloneX, which is apparently your ticket to their ecosystem. The Nike monolith might be the specific one for Nike's ecosystem. I know that they have the Murakami seed flowers that became, maybe that's a part of the Murakami's ecosystem. So it'll be interesting to watch what airdrops come from with this whole Artifact network and what's in them. Cyber Brokers. So Cyber Brokers had a lot to do with March. Made by the artist Josie. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Josie, but a very quick synopsis. But Josie has been in the space for a really long time before me. I remember going to NFT Twitter and crypto Twitter and seeing her work around as an artist. I think she had more followers than pretty much everyone in the space. Yeah, I was like, who's Josie? What's happening here, you know? And there's one thing that you find is when you're very early to a space and not many people are within it, people within that ecosystem, you know, back then in 2018, there was literally only like 200, 300 people that were very active in the NFT space. Yeah, there were a very small handful that were part of the growth, part of a phase of NFTs. I think it reached such a low and no one really knew what was going on with this tech. There's only a small handful of passionate people that were either collectors or creators. So, you know, Josie was one of them, and that's why she has a lot of support from very OG, pretty much every single OG NFT person is in support of whatever Josie does. So she and her team went ahead and launched Cyber Brokers, which it's sort of like value point is the art sort of lives on blockchain. So it's fully on chain. What that means is the images themselves are stored within the blockchain. Usually there's a link that comes with the NFT. That link goes out to IPFS or goes out to being hosted on a different server. So if that server goes down or that the image is changed, then you know, that could affect the NFT and its visual, what it looks like. But if something's on chain, basically it's embedded, the image itself is stored within the blockchain. Once it's there, it cannot be changed. So that's an interesting part of what Cyber Brokers is. It seems like they're going to go on and build an entire ecosystem around these, which they'll probably go on to do. They've got a great developer community. And I mean, I absolutely know Josie and whoever's around this are here to stay. And that's the benefit of being in the space early. You sort of know who's here to stay. So we'll be watching this and how it plays out. The price has moved quite significantly. I think it was 1.2 ETH on day one. It reached a high of 4.6. It sort of pulled back a little bit. It's sort of fluctuating all the way around different places. But again, it's one of those things that I'm just watching to see how it goes down. I'm not going to make any price predictions. I'm just going to make people predictions. And I think, you know, Josie's here to stay and people are here to stay. All right, so let's keep going. What do we have here? We have World of Women that went on. They're going on to do some pretty big things together. I think it's World of Women that went on to have the Marvel collaboration. They had some decent early support. They've gone on to drop World of Women Galaxies, which is another avatar project. So it seems like this is their way to expand their universe, just to make a ton of new avatars and get another set of people that want to join the space. So this is World of Women, sitting at 8 ETH each. The World of Women Galaxy sitting at 1.2 ETH each. I mean, they released quite recently. It's 20,000 of these. So 21,000 of these, 24,000 ETH traded. So World, I mean, it was a matter of time until there were avatars that were focused on the female demographic within the space. I think previous to that, it had a lot to do with the male demographic. So watching World of Women, I'm not part of it. I think I've got one for my daughter. I bought one a while back, so oh shit, I forgot to mint this if I had the choice to. Oh well. But yeah, I think I've got a World of Women in my daughter's wallet. All right. BAYC, God, Bored Ape Yacht Club brought the world to sort of watch what they're up to with this trailer, which was pretty epic. Very high development and modeling went behind this, but it looks like they're building their own metaverse play, right? They're building their own virtual space, their own virtual world where they're going to meet and take in your other avatars and go through doing missions and stuff. All looks extremely visually appealing. Now, let's see how they go. I mean, they've been crushing it. I think they also released a coin last year, right? Last month, sorry. So the pitch deck was also leaked, so what they had in the works, they've got a land sale coming up. I don't even know if this was a planned leak, but it looks like they've got some games in the works, some more apes drops in the works, merch, a coin, all sorts of things that are coming out. It's a pretty big deal, so we'll be watching how Bored Ape Yacht Club plays out. But they also ended up acquiring, this was on March 12th, so March was really a massive month for Bored Ape Yacht Club. They acquired the CryptoPunk and Meebit IPs, which is a massive deal. They like pretty much kicked them to the curb in terms of competition, and no one can compete at level of Bored Apes currently. CryptoPunks was, it had a strong connection to Lava Labs. Lava Labs being a pioneer, CryptoPunks being one of the first. It had a strong story there. The strong story has changed a little bit, or evolved a little bit, reset, and it's interesting to watch how this plays out. Now the pioneers and the decision makers of what CryptoPunks is going to do in terms of utility, etc., is all in the hands of Bored Ape. And will Bored Ape give more functionality and utility to CryptoPunks? I don't think so. I mean, it makes more sense for them to focus on the Bored Ape brand. It's become so big. Why would they give you like way more utility to CryptoPunks and Meebits? I mean, those demographics are pretty wealthy. They're pretty well off, and they're very well known. So maybe it makes sense in that way. But let's see how it goes down. But hey, big announcement. I think March was definitely BAYC's a month. I know that they released a token somewhere, and then people sort of dropped and started dumping their BAYCs, sorry, their apes, because the token gave them an allocation, and that's all they wanted. They thought it was going to dump, but boom, in came the army of people that were buying it again, and they're on their way to doing some big numbers. I mean, they're doing like 7 to 10 sales a day, still at 113 ETH, which is absolutely impressive. They've done 500,000 volume in ETH so far, which is about, I don't know how much they're taking on secondary, maybe 10%. So they made 50,000 ETH just in secondary sales. Made here is just insanity. Yeah, Ape went on to do that. Azuki, we talked about Azuki a little bit already. What else are we talking about? Bitcoin went up to $48,000 last month. Gave a lot of confidence across the industry, which is interesting. I mean, because of that, definitely feeling the energy and coming to a point where people didn't know whether it was going to go up or down. But lo and behold, it did drop, and Bitcoin's at 40,000 US dollars. And I find the fluctuating nature of crypto a little bit difficult to deal with when you're in the NFT space, but at the end of the day, I mean, I've seen it for 4 years consecutively. Whether Bitcoin or crypto or Ethereum goes up or down, the projects that are exciting to be part of will continue to move forward regardless of the price. The price might affect it in the short term, but energy and the culture and the vibe of the project, as long as they keep building upon it, does keep coming back. So that was March, guys. That was March. A bunch of different things happened. Let's see what goes down in April. We're already 11 or so days in April. So there is a lot to happen. There has been some pretty big notable news, but I'll go through them in April sometimes. May sometime. Hope you guys had a successful March and you guys are doing well. Again, I will try and make content a bit more regularly, but hey, who knows? I can't promise anything. I say that and then I just disappear for like a month. So let's see what happens. Take care.